The attic groaned under Samuel Hart's feet as he moved through a maze of battered boxes, chasing ghosts he thought he'd buried. Retirement was supposed to bring peace. Instead, it brought memory, sharp, cutting, and relentless. Dust choked the air, mingling with the scent of rotting wood and regret. His fingers brushed across a familiar box. Monroe, Evelyn. 17. Missing. Never found. Samuel lifted the lid, rifling through yellowed case files. Polaroids. Interview notes. Faded hope. Then he saw it, an envelope, brittle with age, wedged between reports. No stamp. No return address. Just a name, Detective Samuel Hart. And a date, March 2, 1997. His throat tightened. The day Evelyn vanished. Hands trembling, he tore it open. Inside, the words screamed louder than any siren. Detective Hart, please, you're the only one I trust. He said if I told, no one would believe me. He said he'd kill me. Please help me. Please come tonight. I'll be waiting. Samuel sank onto an old crate. He had never seen it, never answered, and Evelyn had disappeared into darkness. He had failed her. The storm battered his windshield as he sped toward the old Monroe house. Rain blurred the road, but Samuel barely blinked. He remembered that night too well. The missed clues, the assumptions, the comfortable lies. The house stood like a decaying skeleton at the end of the gravel drive, its windows dark, its paint peeling. The past hadn't just lingered here, it had rotted. Margaret Monroe opened the door before he could knock. Time had hollowed her frame but not her eyes. Those eyes, fierce, haunted, pinned him in place. Detective Hart, she said, voice dry as autumn leaves. He held out the letter. I found this. But I never knew. Margaret took it with shaking hands. She read slowly, lips trembling. When she finished, she pressed the paper to her chest, closing her eyes against a tide of grief. I always knew, she whispered. She tried to reach someone, but no one listened. Samuel felt the weight of every moment he had failed, of every voice he had chosen not to hear. I'm so sorry, he said, the words pitiful and thin. You didn't look, Margaret replied, her voice almost kind. But you're looking now. They sat in the dim kitchen, the storm outside raging like a second heart beating against the house. The silence stretched until Margaret spoke again. She was afraid of him, she said. Jason. Samuel flinched. Jason Monroe, Evelyn's golden boy brother. Star athlete. Model student. The one they had all trusted. I tried to tell the police, Margaret said. Tried to tell you. But Jason was charming. Clever. No one wanted to see it. Samuel closed his eyes. He remembered the interviews. Jason's easy smile. His tears. He had bought it all. Margaret's voice cracked. After she vanished, I found her diary. She hinted at things. Bruises. Threats. I gave it to the police. They said it was circumstantial. They closed the case. Samuel remembered that too. He had dismissed it. 2 years after Evelyn's disappearance, Jason had died, drunk and reckless, crashing into a telephone pole one rainy night. Everyone had mourned him. Samuel had even shaken Margaret's hand at the funeral. Now he wanted to tear his own skin off. I'm reopening the case, Samuel said, standing awkwardly. Margaret smiled sadly. You won't find her. I have to try, he said. For her, Margaret whispered, her fingers brushing the faded letter still clutched to her chest. For her, Samuel echoed. The process gutted him. Old files. Buried interviews. Ignored witness statements. Then, buried deep in a neglected report, he found it. A neighbor's account. Mrs. Henderson. An argument the night Evelyn vanished. Evelyn crying, begging Jason to let her go. Samuel visited her personally. Mrs. Henderson, now frail and wheelchair-bound, remembered clearly. She was scared, she said. Begging. I called the police, but by then, she was gone. Jason hadn't just scared Evelyn into silence. He had silenced her permanently. But Jason was dead. Evelyn's body was never found. No trial. No cell door clanging shut. Just empty air and unanswered prayers. Still, Samuel wrote the full report, documented every failure, laid bare every blind eye, and he gave it to Margaret. She read it at her kitchen table, the letter beside her like a relic of another life. When she finished, she looked at Samuel, really looked at him. "Thank you," she said, voice steady. He shook his head. "I'm sorry." Margaret reached across the table, grasping his hand with surprising strength. "So am I," she whispered. And for the first time since Evelyn vanished, the Monroe house felt just a little less haunted. But Samuel didn't stop there. He went public. He stood before town councils, high school assemblies, rookie police classes. He told Evelyn's story. Every raw, brutal, inconvenient detail. He made sure they understood. Justice wasn't clean. It wasn't neat. It was messy, painful, human. It was about listening, especially when no one else did. The police station's front hall bore new weight now. Behind thick glass hung Evelyn's letter, yellowed, fragile, but defiant. Beneath it, a plaque. "In memory of Evelyn Monroe. A voice once lost. A voice never forgotten." Samuel visited often. He would stand before the case file displays, watching young cadets pause before the letter, their faces somber. He had taught them something better than tactics or procedures. He had taught them to listen, to look closer, to believe the broken, the scared, the forgotten. He had taught them to be better than he was. And sometimes, late at night, when the streets were empty and the world was finally quiet, Samuel visited the little cemetery outside town. He would bring fresh flowers to a modest stone under a gnarled oak tree. Evelyn Monroe, 1980 to 1997. Forever loved. Never forgotten. He would sit there under the stars, the silence thick around him, and whisper, "I hear you now, Evelyn. I swear to God, I hear you." And in those quiet, trembling moments, he almost thought he could hear her voice in return, forgiving him. "If you're still here after hearing the forgotten letter, I just want to say something straight from the heart. This story isn't just fiction. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest battles we fight are with ourselves. That silence has weight. That looking away has consequences. And that redemption doesn't always come with cheers or clean endings. Sometimes it comes quietly, painfully, but it still matters." Samuel Hart's journey is messy, like real life. He can't undo the past. He can't save the girl he failed. But he chooses to stand up anyway, to face what he missed, to listen when it's too late, to fight for the truth even when no one is watching. And that matters. If this story made you feel something, grief, anger, hope, that means you're alive to the weight of real stories, real people, real losses. And that's powerful. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring about stories that dig a little deeper. I hope you never stop listening to the voices the world forgets. I hope you never stop fighting to be better, no matter how late it feels. Stay strong. Stay human. Stay awake. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe.